Hello viewers, in this video we are going to have a look at the brand new version 2.0 of Paperless-ngx, which has come out just a few hours ago. We are going to have a look at the release notes, then we are going to have a look at portainer and see how we can upgrade the whole thing, and last but not least we're going to log on to the latest version and have a look around what has changed and what is cool. Have fun! As I just said, we are going to have a look at the latest version of Paperless-ngx, which has been released just a few hours ago. I'm displaying the main website of Paperless-ngx here. There is no mention of the latest version here in the normal text, although I have to admit that most probably the screenshots have been adjusted. The only mention of the latest version is up here on the top right corner, and when I click on it I'm being transferred to their GitHub page, and as you can see we have the latest version tagged as version 2.00 here 9 hours ago. Of course, when you watch this video there are a few more hours on top of it because I somehow have to edit this thing. Yeah, let's in this case scroll back up and click on this release, Paperless-ngx version 2.00. And here we end up on the release notes themselves, which I always suggest to have a thorough look through because there are definitely breaking changes. Have a look at any of these if that applies to you. But for example, except for maybe for the first one, the change of the Python version or the deprecation of Python 3.8 is not a big problem because we are running in a Docker environment or container environment. Then the thing with the ARM version 7 platform, this is also something which might concern users of older Raspberry Pi platforms. I don't know when there was the cutoff and the cutover from ARM version 7. So guys, if that doesn't work for you anymore, that might be the reason. Then we have a section of notable changes, and there is a brand new feature which is called consumption templates, which is really cool. These are templates which are being used for documents which you drop into the consume folder, and I don't know how these templates are selected because of course you can have many, but this is something for you guys to explore. And if you have any comments or findings, or if you would like to know more things or would like to share your experiences with it, please just write something in the video comments because other people might also be interested in that. Okay, then there is another feature, share links, also something to explore, certainly interesting. And of course there are in terms of enhancements, there is the latest version of Python or a later version of Python. Of course, if you're deprecating Python 3.8, then you have to go a little bit higher, and they chose 3.11. Also cool. Then we have a long list of features and little changes. It's up to you guys to explore all that. However, there are a few interesting ones. I would like to mention the thing with the audit trail, which is certainly a step forward in terms of compliance. Very important. Have a look at it. Maybe it really solves a few compliance problems which you might have had. But yeah, I don't want to go through each and every entry here. Just have a look at what's interesting for you guys. Like for example, barcode logic. Certainly something I would be interested in to go into depth a little bit further, and so on and so on. There are also enhancements. Hey guys, this is such a huge release. I mean, I can't cover all that in this video. And if I tried to, we would still sit in a few hours. Then there's also a long list of bug fixes. Awesome. A list of changes in the documentation. And of course, there were certain maintenance tasks which also were finalized and concluded with this release. So all in all, big thumbs up and a big thank you to the Paperless-ngx developer team. Great work, awesome, this is greatly appreciated. Thank you guys. Before I continue with this video, I would like to spend a few words about how you can support this channel if you like. You can buy me a coffee. There is the appropriate link in the video description, and or you can hire me for consulting. If you would like to book a session with me, there is a booking link down in the video description as well. Other than that, there is of course the completely free of cost YouTube subscription, and if you haven't done so yet, please click the subscribe button now and don't forget to ring the bell, because then you get a notification each time I release a new video. But now let's continue with the video about Paperless-ngx release 2.0. Anyway, if I have a look further down with my upgrade glasses on, I can't find anything in this regard, which makes me wonder how is the upgrade process going to happen. And if they don't mention anything, I guess that it's going to be absolutely smooth and in the usual way, as we always upgrade Docker-based installations. And how this is done, I'm going to show you right now. I am going to switch over to Portainer. I've already opened it, and it should look on your side something like this here. I'm going to click on Live Connect to connect with my Docker or container host. And now let's go over to stacks. Now I have to find my Paperless-ngx stack, which is here. And it should more or less look like this thing here, with the Gutenberg process, the database process, the paperless Redis process itself, Paperless-ngx, which is our web front end and everything which makes paperless paperless, and ticker finally. Now I'm going over to the editor, because there are a few things which are very important to take into consideration right now. There is the paperless database process, which in my case is a Postgres database. And I have pinned it here to version 16. In many cases, the image is listed like something like Postgres latest, something like this, and that's a bad thing. Why? Most probably you have installed Paperless-ngx a few months ago, and maybe with this latest tag behind Postgres. At this time, most probably the latest major release of Postgres database was 15. Now it has moved up to 16. And there is one niggle about Postgres on Docker, which is that there is no in-place upgrade between major releases. That it's on its own is not the real problem, but the problem is that if you leave the latest in here, then Docker or Container Manager will download version 16 of Postgres, install this in place, try to start the database, and then fail dismally with a comment that it can't work with the database files because they have been created with an older release, and this is the newer release and I can't do anything, and I'm going to stop my work here. Subsequently, the Paperless-ngx container also cannot start because it can't connect to a database. So what to do? The simplest thing is to remember what Postgres release you had when you initially installed this thing, which is most probably 15, could also be 14, I don't know, and pin it like this. And then start this upgrade, and then have a look in the log files of the database container. We're going to have a look at this process in a few minutes, but this is my suggestion. Should something go wrong and the database not starting with the comments with the message which I just mentioned, like I can't start because my database files have been created with release so-and-so, just make note of this particular Postgres release, enter it here behind this colon, and start again, and everything should be fine. In my case, I have already started this whole thing with Postgres release 16, that's why I'm pinning it to 16. Let's now go one step further to the web server section in this stack script. And this now is concerning Paperless-ngx itself, and there is no problem in actually putting in the word latest behind the colon, should it not be there. This makes sure that definitely now when we actually update this suite of containers, that you get the latest release, which is 2.0 at the moment. If you've done everything as I described just now, you're ready for the upgrade. However, before you do that, I really suggest to make sure that you have a valid upgrade of your Paperless-ngx installation. If you are on Synology, this is super simple. You just go over to your DSM, like I'm doing right now, and the easiest way to get a valid backup very quickly is through the snapshot manager. If you haven't installed it yet, you can go over to the package center, then you enter snapshot here in the search bar, enter, and it should look something like this. If it's already there, you can just plain old open it, or if you haven't installed it yet, there is an install button underneath. I suggest to install it. However, it will only be available if you are using BTRFS. It's not available for ext file systems, unfortunately, and if snapshot replication isn't available, you can use any other backup method on Synology. Okay, let's stick with snapshot replication, and once it's installed, as I said, you can open it either from here or from the main menu. It's here. And then you click on snapshots. Here's your list of your shared folders. You have to find the one where your Paperless-ngx, why don't I always say ngx installation sits. Like in my case, it's on the documents. Mark this shared folder, and then you can either by settings create a schedule. If you don't want to do that, you can just click on snapshot, take a snapshot, and then it's basically in place within a few seconds. The nice thing about snapshots is if you don't change much, it will take very little space. And even if you change things inside the related shared folder, it will only require the space for the delta, meaning only the space which the difference between the original and which has been snapshotted and the new version actually requires. Very easy. In this case, if you did that, you will have very quickly a valid point where you can turn back to should anything go wrong with your Paperless-ngx upgrade. If you don't want to use snapshots, there is a plethora of other backup methodologies and systems available on Synology, so the world's your oyster in this case. Just a word, take a backup before, otherwise if things go wrong, you don't have a long face. All right, if you are happy with your backup, you can go back to portainer with your stacks or compose script waiting, and now you can scroll down and click on update the stack. Now you switch on repull image and redeploy. That's very important, so you get the latest version of Paperless, of Redis, Tika, Gutenberg, and hopefully not Postgres. Click on update, and now the whole download mimics is starting. It can take quite a while depending on how much has to be downloaded from the internet and how fast your internet connection is. In my case, since I've already tested the whole thing, all the images are already in place, so I don't have to wait that long. Eventually, you should be greeted by a list of containers like here. And as I said, we are having a look at the log files. That's very important. Let's start with the database container. Click on here and just put on your error and warning glasses and scan the log for that. But in our case, everything seems to be fine. No warnings, no errors, no I cannot start, everything hunky-dory. Now go one step back with your browser back button. Now let's have a look at the Paperless-ngx container itself. And again, put on your error and warning glasses, but if everything looks similar to what I have here, everything should be fine. This means in the next step we can log on to Paperless and have a look at the changes and whether everything works. Well, to do so, you can either use your existing link from wherever you store your links, or you can just do it the difficult way. Open a tab, enter the IP address of your Paperless-ngx container, and you should be greeted with this login screen. Log on as usual with your Paperless-ngx user. And you should be greeted with something similar like what I have here. Under the statistics side, quickly check whether these figures look familiar to you. Are all documents on board? Is everything fine? If you want to dive in further, have a look at the documents themselves. I'm not going to open this because I don't want to show my personal documents to you right now. But have a look, make sure that everything's there. Then, once you're happy with that, familiarize yourself with the latest features. For example, with this templates thing, which we had here. And as we saw in the release notes, this is one of the latest features, consumption templates. These are templates which are being used if you drop documents into your consume folder. And this is what it looks like. Try it out, play with it. I don't think that anything can go wrong here. As usual, and what I think is a good thing, here are logs again for Paperless. So if you notice that there are things not according to your liking, have a look here and again, check for debug or error messages. In conclusion, I have to say this upgrade is super smooth, and a big thank you to the development team of Paperless-ngx. This is really great, and I wish that all upgrades of software and Docker-based systems went as great as this one. This concludes my video about the brand new version 2.0 of Paperless-ngx, and I hope it was helpful or at least fun to watch. In both cases, it would be awesome if you would leave me a like, because that doesn't only help this video, but the entire channel to position itself a little bit more favorably in the YouTube algorithm. For now, thank you very much for watching and see you soon. Bye-bye.